Hey guys, what's up? How ya doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new episode of One Piece, which is on episode 1128. Now, this episode right here was really crazy good in my opinion, and even though the pacing's always this and that and very slow, which we all know why, it is what it is. So, if anything else, let's just get this started right away. We get to see, when it comes to the entire episode, the Marines are being attacked by the pacifists, of course. When it comes to Sanji trying to locate Bonnie, which I believe it might be his observation haki or Kinbin Shoku haki, whichever name you think is more fitting for the ability. So Bonnie gets attacked by the Marines, and they were close to cornering her or possibly even kill her. But Sanji shows up in the right moment of time and tells her, "We gotta get out of here now." And I understand Kuma's your father, but these machines right here, whatever they are not your father at all. They just look like it. Eventually, Vegapunk finds Sanji and Bonnie's location after Sanji located Bonnie, and they end up making their escape right away. And of course, the pacifist is just defending them. As for Zoro, he continues his fight against Lucci, which apparently they seem to be on par to par with each other or on equal terms in skill, fight, and speed, and possibly hockey. But when it comes to Lucci trying to make his like sneak attacks, Zoro has the keen nose to know where he is, even without using Kim and Shoku haki. Other than that, we get to see Chopper, Robin, Usopp, and Nami making their leave. Of course, Stussy volunteers to stay behind for a reason, and Edison knows what Stussy's planning, so he decides like, okay, I'll leave you to it. And eventually, we get to see Saturn really possibly getting annoyed, or he decides to enter the fray or the fight himself. By that time, when he decides to enter the island, he ends up making a big, huge announcement telling the pacifists to stop fighting. And therefore, the pacifists did stop. And this confused Vegapunk and Atlas, wondering why the pacifists are not listening to them anymore. And they both realize a Gorosei is here, which apparently they rank way higher than them than Vegapunk and the ones who created the pacifists themselves. By that time, we have to it that Doberman, I think that's his name. He pretty much warns the Marines, hey man, you guys, Saint Saturn is about to enter the island. Anyone who is not Commodore or less than the rank of Commodore cannot look at him. And therefore, we get to see that one of the lower ranking Marines looked at Saturn and ends up getting killed. But not before we get to see Saturn transforming into a giant spider looking like monster. That much I can tell you. He literally landed on the island with the magic circle pentagon, which has the number 5, which I believe represents the Gorosei or the 5 elders, and he ends up showing on the island, transformed into his devil fruit form, awakened. So we get to see, like I said, one of the Marines staring at Saturn and gets killed. When it comes to the manga, dude, his head got blown off. That much I can tell you. When it comes to censorship to anime and Toei, the guy's head literally possibly did not, his head didn't like poof gone, but got blood all splattered around his head area. You get the idea. If you watch the episode or so, you get the idea. Anyways, we get to see Kizaru trying to attack Vegapunk once more after he tries to run away from Luffy after his fight with him. But Luffy shows up and makes a devastating attack on him using Gum Gum Dawn Pistol, I believe. Whatever the situation is, but he managed to land a hit on Kizaru, which he goes like, "Oh man, this isn't very good. This isn't very good." So of course it's not good because Kizaru just literally got hit by freaking Luffy's Gear 5 form, and with Haki, of course it's gonna hurt him since he landed a hit on his head. by that time, Vegapunk and the others landed very badly, in a very bad sense. As for Saturn, he looks at Luffy, calling him Nika, you know? So, when the episode was coming towards its end, Saturn shows himself in front of Vegapunk, Sanji, and Bonnie. And Bonnie ends up looking at Saturn in anger, remembering what she just saw, and ends up charging at him with a sword and stabs him. And the episode ends off there. So, next episode, we are not gonna have a new we're not gonna have a new episode. It's gonna be a special one of recaps or a summary of the Ballad of a Father and a Daughter. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. Other than that, that was pretty cool. So, yeah, Saturn enters the fight himself, and he's freaking scary menacing. If you guys had read the manga or watched the anime, then you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Saturn enters the fray, or enters the fight himself, stops the pacifisters, and ends up looking at Luffy, managing to land a hit on Kizaru, calling Luffy Nika, and later on shows himself in front of Vegapunk, Frankie, Sanji, Bonnie, and Atlas, saying, "Hey, I thought you were dead," and it looks like to me that it's about to get very hectic because, like I said, Saturn is, and as many people will say, Saturn is scary and dangerous. That much I can say. The fact of the matter is that he showed up in that kind of form, especially awakened form of his power. You're gonna be sweating bullets. Not to mention, unless you are a Commodore or above, you can't stare at him. And look what happened. A Marine just got himself killed. His head exploded. Well, not in the anime, but yeah. Until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm off for Zoro. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot!